All right, so I'm sure I'm not the only one who's come across that girl online nowadays. I don't know if you guys have seen the photo, but it's like a girl holding a baby. I think her name is Shiloh, from what I understand. Like, I wanted to see what exactly is going on with this video because all I know is that there's some like racial stuff going on and that there's like GoFundMe's out. So I really want to like to see what's really going on here. So today I'll be reacting to a video that better explains what's actually going on in this situation. But before we jump into it, I also wanted to point out that this video comes at a time that is it's pretty close. It's pretty close to Carmelo Anthony's case, which if you're not aware, that's the guy who went up and stabbed some other guy. So in this case, in Carmelo Anthony's case, from what I understand, it was like pretty racially like going crazy with GoFundMe. Like, oh, they're saying like black people are supporting it and white people are. There's like this whole thing going on, black and white all over again. You know how it goes. And somebody like me, a little caramel, just kind of stays in the back here and just watches it happen, because I don't got beef with no sides, I don't got beef with no sides. I'm chill, I'm chill. So I really wanted to see what's going on, so I decided to like pull up a video that I saw online, and I want to react to it. So let's kind of get into it and see if this is like as racially motivated as people are saying, and if there's like a right and wrong here, which in either way there probably isn't. But yeah, let's get into it.
So, something very interesting has happened in the United States.
So first and foremost, for those who don't know who she is, this is like one of the photos I've seen of her. I've seen other photos. There's like other angles, but obviously this covers her face and all that. Which I don't know if this video is gonna show it, and if he doesn't show it, I don't know if I should show it because it's probably some kind of like I know she's under some kind of backlash or something. So I don't want to I don't want to expose things that I shouldn't expose if that makes sense. But if you guys want, you can go look it up yourself for sure. I'm sure you'll find it on X, Twitter. You'll find it very easily because that's how I even saw it. So yeah.
And I'm trying to think of a very delicate way of putting this, but it seems honestly that just a lot of white people in America have just had enough of the way that they are treated and are expected to respond to ethnic minorities, in particular black people.
I would agree with that. I think that I think that he definitely saying like a truth there. Now, obviously, with how we had like our past administration and how things were going, I think that it created some kind of like hate that wasn't really ever there. It's created a hate that should have never even happened, but it happened because of, for example, like Gerald Floyd and all that, or Gerald Floyd. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but like that set off a whole thing, right? So I think that the point of like saying like I think white people are just getting sick and tired of having to like deal from like with sins from the past, pretty much, right? Like, oh, ancestors, and because my ancestor was white, that means I'm racist and blah blah. Like I think that white people are pretty much over it, and in that case I'm kind of with that because like honestly it's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying having to deal with that and having to pay for other people's like mistakes, pretty much, right, that you didn't even cause. So I think that's definitely true. I think that white people are definitely fed up with it.
Now, I want to be clear that I am not in any way encouraging any kind of racial abuse. I do not agree that we should be racially abusing each other at all. But there is a racial angle to this issue and this story, and I can't properly talk about it without acknowledging that that's the case. So, this image is a still from a video that features a young lady, a young mother, called Shiloh Hendricks. Now, I'm not going to play the video because in it she repeatedly uses the N word because an autistic 5-year-old boy.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good. No, I mean, hey, listen, man, I'm a gamer. I've heard it all, but to say it out in public and actually mean it, it's a little much. It's a little much for sure.
Apparently stole something out of her baby bag, and she, I guess, had just kind of snapped. She just kind of had it, and she started calling this boy the N word. And this was recorded by a Somalian man who was, for some reason, loitering around the kids' park, which we'll get to in a minute. And she was just completely unrepentant. She was like, "No,
Um, I don't get the point about the guy being at a kids park. I didn't get that. I mean, he's probably just there. I mean, it's probably just a park. It's probably not a kids park. I mean, I don't know. I don't see parks as being just for kids. And it seems like if you look in the background there, like over here, it seems to be like there's like a pavilion over there and stuff. So it might be a river back there. So I don't see this only being a kids park. I mean, it could be a kids section with benches probably where people usually sit. I've seen it plenty of times. So I don't get the point about the guy being there and that being weird, but well, we'll obviously continue.
I said what I said. I'm not going to apologize. I'm basically absolutely done with the way that these things keep happening in the United States. And I think this really resonated with a lot of people. And that, one might think, should provoke a national conversation in America about what the standards are for white people and black people, because they're not the same. And we have seen repeatedly standards for black people that would never be accepted for white people, and vice versa. And it's, of course, not in the white people's favor. And I think that I honestly think that
I think this is very true. This is definitely a very true statement. I've seen it multiple times. I mean, let's be real. Like, I'm colored, right? Like, I'm Hispanic, so I'm colored, so I've seen it, and maybe I've even enjoyed the fruits of certain things over white people. So I'm not obviously putting myself in that position, um, but I will say that I do agree. I have seen it in that way where, obviously, like certain things black people do, white people cannot say, white people cannot do, white people can't act in the same way, in the same manner, and receive the same support from the general public and like the justice system, put it that way, which the double standard is a big problem in America for sure.
part of the issues that people have with the black community stem from this permissiveness about letting them do things that are just otherwise unacceptable in what is supposed to be an integrated mixed race society by liberal standards. And I think this drives a lot of white separatist thought because, I mean, ultimately, why wouldn't you come to the conclusion that if you're being treated by one standard, another group of people are being treated by another standard, and their standard is not only superior to your own, which is bad enough as it is, but it also hurts your community, you can see why people would be bothered about that and they wouldn't want any more of this. Anyway, so the original rooftop Korean says, yeah, fair enough, because during the LA riots, he was guarding his shop roof while black people rioted, burned down, and beat to death some white people because of Rodney King. And like I said, this can only go on forever, for so long, and people are going to start really, really, really getting resentful. Now, the chap who was filming was apparently an accused sex offender from Somalia.
No way. Oh my god, there's no way, bro. There's no way. There's no way.
He
There's
was
no way.
he and someone else will arrive.
Two Rochester men will appear in court May 5th on joint charges of third and fifth degree criminal sexual conduct after being accused of raping a 16-year-old girl, offering her a place to stay. No, bro, this cannot be real. Mohammed Hussein Omar, 42 years old, and Sharmaik Bail Omar, 30, may receive a joint trial for their identical charges of third-degree criminal sexual conduct, penetration of person under 18 years old, uses coercion, and fifth-degree criminal sexual conduct. Oh my God. And this is the guy who's recording them hanging around at the park where there are kids and is being allegedly accused of being a 16-year-old girl. Jesus Christ. What is the timing on this, bro? What is the timing on that, bro? You have literally a pedophile, pretty much, allegedly a pedophile there, and a racist woman there, all at the same time, at the same park. Dude, this park is crazy. Like, what?
Appear in court on May the 5th after being accused of raping a 16-year-old after offering her a place to stay. Right. So an accused paedophile is wandering around a kid's play park and films this. Why is he there exactly? That strikes me as a bit weird. It's
Yeah, definitely very weird, especially with what's happening. And I mean, there's no way in his head that it was fine for him to be there knowing what he's already facing. I mean, he caught the video, I guess, but like still, it's like, "Oh my God."
especially as in his defense, he says, "Well, I didn't do anything wrong. I've been accused."
This is him. Hey, just curious, why did a 16-year-old accuse you of picking her up at Rochester Quick Trip after she ran away from home and after you brought her back to your house, then accused you of raping her? I guess this is him, Harare, or whatever. When she went back to her foster home, she wanted to play the victim card. So, she wanted to play the victim card so attention could not get into trouble. So she said she was assaulted, later admitted after she ruined our lives. Victim card. I mean, I don't. Okay.
He's Someone says, "Why did a 16-year-old accuse you of picking her up at a whatever after she ran away from home after you brought her back to a house and accused you of raping her?" And he says, "When she went back to her foster home, she wanted to play the victim card so attention could not get into trouble. She later said that she was assaulted and admitted, presumably, that she hadn't after she ruined our lives." Now, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to take him at face value on that because, frankly, I mean, he's not a young man. What are you doing grooming 16-year-olds? Just saying,
Yeah,
in
I
my country, we
agree.
have some experience of.
I also want to know why so she ran away from home. Why are you just not reporting her to the authorities? Why are you not calling somebody for her? And maybe like I get it, maybe you're like scared of doing that because maybe she told you some crazy story of whatever could have happened. But either way, this is not your problem. You're a 40-year-old man, she's a 16-year-old girl. The optics on that is incredibly not in your favor. Like it was an easy hey, I have this girl here, she ran away from home. I need you guys to come pick her up and see what's going on. That it's really that simple. It was not his position to take her to a place to stay, like his home, I'm assuming. Like there's no way. I don't know what's going through your head in that situation. That's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. There's no excuse for that. And I think he had second intentions off the rip. You should have never brought her home to your house in the first place, once or ever.
Older foreign Muslim men who spend a lot of their time trying to pick up teenage girls, vulnerable teenage girls who are in foster homes and things like this. Hardly respectable gentlemen is the point. So anyway, why this accused sex offender is hanging around at this park is a question I don't have an answer for. But anyway, so after this, Shiloh Hendricks started a GiveSendGo because she wanted to help protect her family. Because, as she says, we've been put into a dire situation. I recently had a kid steal.
My SSN has been leaked. My address, phone number, been given out freely. My family members are being attacked. My eldest child may not be going back to blank. Even where I exercise has been exposed. So she got doxxed for what she said. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to be like, she deserved it or did not deserve it. I'm going to look at it from a logical point of view. Nobody deserves to get doxxed. I'll be straight up very honest with it. Yeah, I get it. She said something extremely bad, extremely rude, beyond rude, obviously, like forbidden, put it that way. But she doesn't deserve to get doxxed because that not only puts her in danger and possibly killed, but her children and her family who have nothing to do with what her comments were. Like whether you want to say, oh, maybe she was raised like that and they deserve it. Nobody deserves to be killed and or doxxed over a dispute or over saying something obviously extremely bad. I don't believe you just go out and kill somebody just for being racist. I'll be very honest. We're kind of past that in society, I would hope, and there's ways to handle these things in a more professional manner rather than doxing somebody and then possibly getting that person killed. I mean, that's a little extreme. That's a little extreme for sure.
From my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was. Another man who recently found has a history in law enforcement proceeded to follow me and record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online, which caused my family and myself great turmoil.
So I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month old diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was, See, that right there, no good. You don't say that in that manner, especially when we know what you said. Obviously, context matters. There might have been more prior to her saying what she said. But from my understanding is that she literally repeated the N-word multiple times over. So to say, oh, I called him out for what he was. So what is he? Like, you're basically saying I called him out for being an N-word. That's literally what she's saying, which is insane. Insane. Absolutely unacceptable and insane.
She got doxxed. A lot of her stuff has been circulated online, apparently, and she's got problems. And so she created a fundraiser. The reason initially it was for $20,000.
Raised $347,000, bro. 347,000 for what she said? Damn, man, that's a lot of bread. That's a lot of money. But you know what? I can definitely believe it. I mean, this could be easily retaliation, right? As in, like I just said, this has been circulating around X and Twitter. Now, I heard about Carmelo Anthony's case through X/Twitter, right? So I saw his GoFundMe and his bail and all that, and I saw how much money he got. I mean, he got a shit ton of money too. Let's be real. And in this case, I'll be very honest. He stabbed and killed somebody in broad daylight, video proof, had charges previous of being aggressive and, doing bad things. So his case is pretty open and shut, in my opinion. So for a GoFundMe for him to reach the number that it did and then him to be released, obviously there is an unfairness there, because if it was a white person in that position, I don't see this happening the way it happened for him, right? I don't see the lowered bail number out of nowhere and then being out on bail after stabbing somebody to death. I don't care if you're under 18 years old or if you're only 18 years old. You shouldn't have bail either way because you murdered somebody. It is what it is. That is the truth. Now, I see this as retaliation for that, as in white people probably, or people who are fed up with this black and white bullshit. I see this as retaliation. Like, hey, you know what? You went out and supported a murder. We're going to support a racist. Like, literally. And they go out and they send money to basically a racist. So, this is probably just retaliation from people who are like, you know what? I'm going to send $25 anyway, just to show them that, we can do the same thing. So I definitely see this as like a retaliation thing, for sure, because I don't think people should be agreeing with what she said and her actions, but I see this more as a retaliation. And honestly, maybe this is some kind of like, hey, I kind of agree with her because I'm sick of this, and yeah, maybe she wasn't the right for saying this, right? Like, people get crazy, and at this point, I feel like it swung so much to the like extreme now, because of how long white people have had to basically suffer this problem. I think that now it's just getting to the point where now it's like radicalized, I guess you should say. And it's like to a point where white people are just sick of it and they're going to agree with anything just to like get it done and get it out of the way because, hey, like you want to F us, we're going to F you back type of ordeal at this point now.
Then it sailed past that, so then it was for $250,000. And now she's raised it to $1 million, and she's on 350,000 almost, which is remarkable because this story seems to have caught the attention of the white separatist Twitter, and they have decided that no, they are going to use this in the way that the black community uses their fundraisers. And I think that Dissident West here is correct, that what is happening right now is...
It couldn't be more obvious that what's happening right now is a proxy race war. Carmelo Anthony being rewarded for what he did was the straw that broke the camel's back. A thread of the comments from Shiloh's GiveSendGo fundraiser. His name was Austin Metcalf. Exactly. Like I said, this is like a retaliation thing. Austin Metcalf was the kid who was stabbed to death by Carmelo Anthony, by the way. So this is what I mean. Like this is white people like basically saying, "Hey, like you effed us, we're gonna f you back," type of ordeal.
Basically, a proxy race war. This coming so quickly after the Carmelo Anthony incident, and the manifest injustice that came from that. I I can see why a lot of people are angry, right? Again, just other Austin Metcalf, the lad he killed, and a lot of people are saying things like "no more white guilt, no more white shame. This is the only way forward. Why should they have to live with this kind of burden?" And you can see that actually a lot of it is, I'd say, just
Whites are rising. Enough is enough. You're a beautiful wife. You're a beautiful white family, our sister. Embrace your folk and remember what happened here. And remember Austin Metcalf and thousands of others lost. Yeah,
self-love,
and
right?
it's
Whether
gotten
you
to it really has gotten to that point. And this is because of a failure of the justice system, with the way they've been handling like basically based on your race is depending on what kind of sentence and what kind of enforcement is going to be put upon you. And now, before everybody starts saying, "Oh, well, when white people get pulled over, they don't have to worry about being shot," blah blah blah. I just think that in my personal experience, I've been pulled over. I am colored. I get it. I'm not black. And I get it. I'm not whatever, but I'm technically colored, right? So I'm technically a minority. So I've been pulled over. And as long as you're a respectful human being, cops do not care. Maybe there's that, I'm not going to go off and say all cops are great because obviously there are some scumbags out there. But I'm also not going to be like, that's the majority. That is not the majority, right? So I think that the justice system itself is kind of like really the reason to blame what's going on here.
whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, they aren't saying we hate black people. They're saying we like white people, which is quite different to what was going on Carmelo's one. Before we get to that, though, she's been reported to.
Yeah, I even think like in Carmelo's situation, if I remember correctly, the father of the kid who died, I think he had showed up to one of the like the conferences they were having, or he was like outside the building or whatever, trying to say like, "Hey, this is not a race problem, and I don't hate this kid." Like he was trying to like kind of like take the heat off of it. He was trying to help, but then I believe the guy, the little like roach guy, the cockroach who was hanging around the family, who wasn't even part of the family, who was apparently like a minister who, by the way, had like beat kids and like did a bunch of bad stuff too, and then became a minister or a pastor, and it was pastoring this family, and then decided to leech off of them for their uh, fame, I guess you should say, and the money that they were producing. So this guy went out and basically attacked the father, not physically, but verbally, via media outlets, and basically said like he shouldn't be here and he knows he shouldn't have come here, blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, he was there trying to stop the race problem, and you basically want to continue it because it's favoring you, your cause, and it's bringing in money. Thus, the reason why you're favoring it. That father who was well within his rights to say bad things for sure, and he didn't. He was just trying to take pressure off of that family and trying to, hey, say this is not a race thing, but people are people. So
The police, even though I'm sure that what she's done in America isn't actually a crime because of the First Amendment. I'm reasonably sure she can say anything she likes within reason. And it's interesting that GiveSendGo decided to wipe the comments on Carmelo's one. So, for example, if you go to his, where he raised $500,000 for murdering a young lad who was white, uh, totally unreasonable in my opinion, like utterly barbaric, frankly,
yeah,
and brutal. And the comments are all gone. You don't get to see the messages, just the donors. Very interesting, because I think a lot of people noticed.
that is pretty weird how there is no messages. I don't know if there originally was messages. I did not see or check it. Um, but I mean, I'm pretty sure people will probably find the evidence that it's been wiped.
That, as Callum has pointed out, Carmelo's mentions, the comments that went along with it, were anti-white hatred. I mean, death to the white man. How much worse can you get? Whereas with hers, it's, good luck. I hope you're okay. The tone is
Yeah, that's a huge difference. I don't want to say I blame like really anybody in that side of things, except for that pastor who really kind of egged this on and really wanted to show like this is a race thing. He probably knows very well, as most of us probably know too, that if you push it and you push it and you push race and you push race, it's gonna be like a cash bag. Put it that way, honestly, because it brings money, it brings attention, it brings money. So you want to keep pushing it to get more money. And in my opinion, that guy was leeching off of that family and basically smearing them and smearing white people to continue a race war and continue saying it's about race so they can get more money, thus meaning he gets more money. Because I'm pretty damn sure they were probably giving him something for pushing and doing what they were doing. Or if not, I mean, they probably go to the church and they're probably they're really generous donations that are being given, put it that way. But this right here, like, it just proves what I'm saying. Like, death to the white man. Death to the white man. Like, come on, man. We're over these times. Let's get over this type of shit. And let's stop pushing this. Oh, it was race that did this because of race that did. Dude, race what? He murdered somebody. He murdered somebody in broad daylight. He was basically given more than $500,000. His bail was lowered from the initial number was lowered. He was released on bail. He got to go home. There was a good amount of money given to the family for this. Like, come on, man. There's not much of unfairness here. What's unfair is that he's not in jail in a cell rotting away right now. That's unfair. He should be in a cell. I don't care if it's a holding cell. He should be in a cell. He killed somebody. It doesn't matter. She says something racist. I don't agree with her whatsoever, and I'm not defending her cause or what she said. She is racist. She said something racist and something awful, but she also does not deserve to get doxxed and or killed for it because she didn't murder somebody. There's a big difference between words and an action, right? Words and actions are very different. And the support here obviously shows death to the white man. That's blatantly like, oh, let's basically group up and go against the white man and go against the white power. So I think that it's just a little much. And then obviously hers being like more supportive. But then again, this could be hand selected comments. I did not go out myself and go look at these comments. So I'm not going to give too much on that. But if this is the case, looking at it the way it is right now, there's a big difference in these sides here. Big, big difference.
so obviously different. Again, if you're upset that in less than 5 years America went from supporting George Floyd to supporting Shiloh Hendricks, you're really not going to like what comes next. Yeah, well, I mean, people, I think, are really annoyed. I mean, this is just... It's not acceptable that justice is denied.
Yeah, like ask me if I care. A white woman said the N word. I think that this is what a lot of people are feeling now. Do you think they really care that she used the N word when this kid is getting off free after murdering somebody, specifically murdering a white young man? Like, come on, man.
When the races are of a certain tone, when the races are a certain kind, it's just not acceptable. And the black community is not happy about this. For example, let's have a
Naturally.
listen to this.
And you guys raised $250,000 for her? I am beyond disturbed. White people should not be forced to live among monkeys.
That's a crazy comment. Crazy comment. Don't completely disagree. Crazy ass comment. But I can see why they say this because it's gotten to the point where, I mean, let's be honest. How many times have I heard the C word, right? That's used, the derogatory term used against white people, and people say, oh, it's not racist. It is racist. It's just that, nobody thinks that you could be racist to a white person, put it that way. They said this. I could see why they say this. I could see their point of view. I'm just not okay with it. I'm not agreeing with it, but I can see it.
Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy. I want to say that I'm shocked, but I'm not.
I don't know why you're shocked. I really don't. I mean, it's pretty obvious in this world as to why people are reacting like this, specifically white people. It's pretty freaking obvious. I don't think there's much to be shocked about here once or ever.
Not shocked, I'm angry.
Okay. I mean, again,
I will say that video, that clip seems to be taken out of context. There might have been more to that. I think she probably gave a full breakdown because it seemed like it started halfway through. But besides the point.
I'm sorry, but this man murdered someone. This man obviously went looking for trouble and murdered someone. And in response, he raised $500,000 with many comments like this, whereas she said a word that, don't get me wrong, I don't think that she should be calling a 5-year-old child the N-word.
I don't think
A
anybody
5-year-old
does.
child often is not not very well so.
I don't think that anybody of sound mind would say that it's okay for her to use that word really against anybody, not only a 5-year-old child, but against anybody.
Socialized. A lot of the time they do things that they shouldn't do, and sometimes they do things they know they shouldn't do, and they do them anyway. Trust me, I know. So I don't think that her response was in isolation reasonable, and I don't think she should have done it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to condemn people who, in a wider context, understand that there's something greater going on here. Again, like, sorry, it was just speech. This was a murder, and it's hardly unique. It's hardly alone in the dynamics of it. And man, there were loads and loads and loads of people like this. There was a thread.
Black kid stabbing white kid over minor dispute, smiles. White woman calling black kid N-word over minor dispute. Yeah, like this is pretty accurate, right? It puts in perspective what white people see, right? This is the eyes of white people right now, like what they are seeing.
In fact, of it. Where have I got? Yeah, there we go. There's just a thread of them furious, absolutely furious, and trying to get her deplatformed from GiveSendGo, who at time of recording have not deplatformed her. So honestly, I mean, you know, like I said, I don't agree with what she's done, but I can understand that she probably doesn't have a huge amount of money, probably lives in a rough area. I mean, why else would you be at a park where Somali accused sex offenders are prowling? And sorry, you know, this is just too damn bad. Just too damn bad. I mean, again, if the standard wasn't so evidently set by this community, then maybe I would have more of a problem with it. If we didn't see this repeatedly, and this is not the first time, there have been many others. The George Floyd fundraisers were, again, eye-opening, absolutely eye-opening, that the level of resentment many people in the black community hold towards the white community, even though I don't think the white community in America deserves it at all. I think they're insanely tolerant people generally.
I don't think anybody deserves it, right? Whether white, Hispanic, black. I really don't think. I think that we just need to understand that, hey, like we need to get over this racist shit, and they have a priority in this and priority in that. We just need to get over this shit, truthfully. Like we need to stop using our skin color to determine how we live our life, pretty much, and how things happen in our lives because of our skin color. We just need to get over it, no matter who it is, white, Hispanic, black, anything. We just need to get over it, bro, because it's just so annoying. It's so annoying. Everything's race, everything's that, everything's because I'm black, because I'm white, because I'm Hispanic. It's just like it's ridiculous, ridiculous. It got to a point with, like, even with me, like when I see it, I pretty much, it's like an instant thing for me when I'm like, all right, I just don't even want to entertain it unless it's blatantly obvious, you know, unless it's super obvious, because there are racist people out there. But to think everybody's racist or an entire race is basically racist, is ridiculous.
And what they're upset about is a lack of tolerance. People have decided that, no, we're just going to speak out against what you're doing. And it's driving them mad. How dare you? Well, I mean, how dare you? And so people are pointing out this. And I'm just going to read this from Chad Crowley, because I think it does accurately summarize why Shiloh was able to raise so far $750,000. For years, the pattern was held. A white person makes a comment, sometimes crude, sometimes merely unfashionable. The video is clipped, stripped of context, and cast into the digital coliseum. The crowd demands penance. Doxing follows. Then come sponsors, employers, the journalists. The result is always the same: apology, grovelling, ruin. This is not justice. It never was. It is a moral spectacle, a purification ritual for the postmodern West, where the cleansing agent is white submission. The apology is not meant to be accepted, but to affirm the guilt of the group. The goal is not reconciliation, but re-education, humiliation, and silence. Also catharsis for the black community. But this time, it was the case of Shiloh Hendricks. The script cracked. Her personal details were posted. She received death threats. Her children were targeted, and yet she did not capitulate. She did not appear on camera with a quivering voice and downcast eyes. She launched a fundraiser, and white people responded. Not the media, not the institutions, not the credential class, but ordinary white people. Tens of thousands poured in to support her. The platform, GiveSendGo, not GoFundMe, which obviously bans these things, reported over 250,000 raised in days. These were not donations, these were the stirrings of something new. Each dollar said, "We see what you're doing and we are done pretending." This is more than the defense of one woman, this is a rejection of the moral framework that made her a target. The Hendricks affair is not the first of its kind, but it is one of the first to end differently. No apology, no resignation, no collapse, instead resistance. And more than anything else, that signals a shift. Ritual is breaking, and with it the spell of white guilt. And this, I am genuinely annoyed. I mean,
Yeah, this is what I was referring to earlier, where it was like son is killed, forgives killer, gets kicked out of the killer's press conference, and then was swatted. Like this is what I was saying about the father of Austin Metcalf earlier in the video. So this is what I would mean by that. Son is robbed, calls Steve the N-word, collects 100,000, GiveSendGo the next day.
just furious, frankly, at the way that what's his face is the stab man's father was treated. Right, it's just genuinely awful because he was as contrite over this Carmelo murdering his son as anyone could possibly have been. I mean, he was openly forgiving. Like his mother, you know, the lad's mother was just like, well, I don't want to forgive. And I tell you what, if it was one of my sons, I wouldn't forgive either. But he did everything he could according to the script. He did everything he could, everything he thought he was supposed to do, and he wasn't accepted by the black community. He wasn't. They didn't say we're sorry. They didn't. The family of Carmelo didn't say I'm sorry, but we stole your son forever. And so yeah, people are glad to see when someone's like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not having this. And so yeah, I mean, I can't bring it myself to condemn this. I'm not, like I said, I don't endorse it at all. I don't think you should be calling anyone the N-word. I don't think that calling children slurs is a good idea either. And honestly, I think the current moral lock that one community has on another in the United States is just wrong. It's just wrong. The same standard should be applied to both. Like Carmelo.
Yeah, I think that's what I honestly think that's what most people think nowadays. I don't know if it's maybe just my generation, the people I hang out with, the people in my community, in my area. But I mean, like I'm Gen Z, and honestly, I think most of us in Gen Z are just like we're sick and tired of it. The white versus black, the Hispanic versus black, everything. We're just sick and tired of it, bro. Just apply the same standards all around. Be fair. Be a normal freaking person and get over it. Literally.
Should not have been allowed to raise $500,000 on the back of "we hate white people, death to white people." That should not be permitted. And you should expect some kind of response if that is permitted. Because you're setting the rules of the game as black people can do what they want, and if they do something terrible to you, they can raise huge amounts of money, and white people just have to accept that. And that's not fair, and nobody's going to accept it.
Yeah, guys. I mean that's the video. I think that, like I said earlier, I mean this definitely shows like what is going through everybody's head and like why this happened the way it happened. I didn't know much about the situation, so this video was very educational for me. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, share your thoughts, let me know what you guys think of the video. Obviously this was a COD Dailies video, so I'll make sure to leave a link in the description and down below so you guys go support it. It'll be at the very top of the description. COD Daily, great video, man. Again, it'll be pinned at the top. very first comment from me as well. Link to the video and on top of my description. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.